Respected Dharma masters, fellow practitioners, and guests, we often hear in Buddhism that we need 3 requirements in Pureland Buddhism to achieve attainment. First, we need belief. Second, we need the vow. And third, we need practice. When Buddha Shakyamuni came to this world over 2,500 years ago, he came to teach us, to help us understand the true reality of life and the universe. Buddha Shakyamuni experienced enlightenment. He did not sit down and read about it. He observed it. He saw the true reality in a deep state of meditation. And Buddha Shakyamuni did not ask us to have blind belief in what he taught. He asked us to experience the reality for ourselves. He taught us the ways that we could learn to experience it. But he did not ask us to accept anything through blind belief. Because he understood that if we experience something, we will be able to believe much more deeply than if someone simply says, "Believe me." He taught us the ways to uncover the truth. The truth is actually already within us. We already have perfect wisdom, perfect compassion, perfect understanding, perfect everything. These are all already within our Buddha nature. All sentient beings have this same Buddha nature. We all live different lives now because of the karma we have created in our past lives. In this lifetime, we are born as a human. But in the next lifetime, we do not know what realm we will be born into. But the odds are it will not be as a human. We cannot afford to waste this opportunity. It has been said the opportunity to learn of the Buddha's teachings is as rare as one bubble rising to the surface of a vast sea, to break through that surface within the one small wreath of flowers floating upon it. This is how rare it is to learn of the Buddha's teachings. To learn why we are born as humans in this lifetime. Why others are born as animals. To understand that the appearance of us right now is very temporary. Just like a set of clothing that we have put on for this lifetime. In an instant, we can shed that clothing and take on a new set and be reborn in another realm, in another lifetime. Believe what the Buddha taught. Experience it. Think about the teachings. See if they make sense. If they are logical. I was talking with a practitioner recently who was saying how difficult it is to have belief. A few years ago, I had a similar conversation with another practitioner who said, what if none of it is true? What if what the Buddha taught is not real? And we discussed that possibility. What did the Buddha teach us? To be good people, to care for others, to give up thoughts of selfishness, to only look out for the welfare of others, to do what is good and ask nothing in return, to live simply, to not dwell on problems, on worries, to not cling to things. Now consider if what the Buddha told us about enlightenment is not true. But consider all the things the Buddha taught. We know intuitively they are true. They are good. We know ourselves when we help others, we feel better. We know that when we are happy, not immersed in anger, in negative emotions, that we feel much better. Using logic, we can see what the Buddha taught is true. If we calm the wandering thoughts and think about the teachings, we will intuitively know they are correct. We do not have to rely on others to assure us of this. We already know. Believe in what the Buddha taught us to experience. Believe that all Buddhas want us to achieve attainment, want us to transcend reincarnation, want us to stop all the suffering of life in the 6 realms of reincarnation. Believe what Buddha Shakyamuni taught about Buddha Amitabha, about the Pureland, about a place of cultivation where only the utmost virtuous people go. A school that surpasses all other schools to learn how to help others, transcend reincarnation, and in this way to attain Buddhahood for ourselves. Buddha Shakyamuni did not say, "Come to my world. It's the best place." Buddha Shakyamuni said, in our time, in a period when the Dharma, the teachings, would rapidly decline, would sometimes flourish, would other times go into deeper decline. He knew what our state of mind would be. He knew we would have fallen badly, deeply into habits from innumerable past lifetimes, and that it would be so difficult for us to break through those bad habits. He knew the difficulty we would have to attain enlightenment on our own. So for this time, he spoke what we call the longer and shorter Amitabha Sutras. The Amitabha Sutra is very rare. Most sutras were taught by the Buddha as an answer to a question. But Buddha Shakyamuni knew the time was right. He initiated giving the Amitabha Sutra himself. Very rare. He knew how important this sutra, this teaching would be to us. He asked us to experience, to practice, to see how we felt after that practice, to see how we felt as our bad habits dropped away, as we became more mindful of what we are doing now. Believe in what Buddha Shakyamuni taught of Buddha Amitabha. A Buddha who, when he was still a bodhisattva, took eons to learn about all the different Purelands of the Buddhas, to choose the very best features for the Western Pureland. After viewing all those Purelands, Buddha Amitabha formulated 48 perfect vows, all to help us. He taught us that if we make the vow to be born into the Pure Land, we can be born into the Pure Land. Belief is the first requirement. The vow is the second. We vow in our practice to be born into Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. We go there to help other beings, to learn all the ways, to return to all the worlds, to help all the beings that we have affinities with, to learn all the different methods, all the ways of practice, to come back here to all those worlds, to help all sentient beings. We do not make the vow to go to the Western Pure Land for ourselves. We do it for others. We have made this vow in many, many lifetimes. But we are still here. We have yet to be born into the Pure Land. Maybe we have lacked belief. Maybe we have lacked proper vows. Maybe our practice was not sincere enough. Whatever the reason, all of us are still mired in reincarnation. We have practiced many times If we had not, we would not all be here. To be practitioners, to be nuns, we have practiced many times. We have that rare opportunity. We cannot afford to be sidetracked in this lifetime. We cannot afford to not be diligent. We cannot afford to say, we will try tomorrow. We will relax today. We don't know if there will be a tomorrow for us. All we have is this moment. Let go of all the worldly worries, anxieties. Let go of trying to gain things. Let go of the idea that others must believe as we believe. Let go of thoughts that we alone are right and all others are wrong. Make the vow. Sincerely make the vow to be born into the Pure Land. We do not make the vow for Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They know every thought we have. They knew the instant we first made that vow. So we're not making it for them. We make it for ourselves. To reaffirm, to remind ourselves. To focus on being born into the Pure Land. To not give in to negative emotions, bad habits, afflictions. To let go of all of them. It has been said we should paint the word death on our forehead to remind ourselves constantly not to put off till tomorrow. Making the vow, reinforcing the vow. We make the vow to form a connection with Buddha Amitabha, to become one with him. In reality, we are all one, but we cannot see this. We still see ourselves as individuals. We do not yet see that every being, everything is part of one immense entity that fills the universe. Not seeing that, we can still focus in our practice, in our chanting, to form that bond. We form the bond as we would try to form a connection in school with the very best professor available. We are not asking that professor, that teacher, to simply give us a passing grade. regardless of what we do. We seek that good teacher to learn from him. This is what we are trying to do with Buddha Amitabha. We are not asking him to magically help us be born into the Pure Land. If all it took was Buddha's saying, you're born into the Pure Land, they would have done that long ago. All they can do is teach us. We created our lives by our past thoughts, words, and deeds in every lifetime that we have lived in. Those behaviors and thoughts created what we have gone through today. What we are doing today will create the future. We create our lives. Nobody else does this. There is not any external force that says, you will have a good life. You will have a very difficult life. It does not come from outside of us. The lives we lead, everything that we undergo, was created by we alone. We created today. We can create tomorrow. Buddha Amitabha, as all Buddhas, can help us, but cannot make it happen for us. There is an analogy that Buddha Amitabha is like the mother, always thinking of the son. But if the son runs away, there is little the mother can do. All the son has to do is reach out to that mother. All we have to do is reach out to Buddha Amitabha. He is just waiting for us to do so. Patiently, lifetime after lifetime, just waiting for us to break through delusion, to awaken, to realize that this world is a dream. It's not real. It's not permanent. It is a dream, a rainbow, a drop of dew. Here one moment, gone the next. Buddhas, all Buddhas, are just waiting for us to realize this. When we do, and when we have that third provision of practice, if we practice properly, we will form that connection. What is proper practice? For we Pure Land practitioners, it is chanting the name of Buddha Amitabha. It is using that name to suppress all wandering thoughts, to replace all those thoughts with the name of a Buddha, with all that is good, all that is perfect, to replace all the negativity with the perfect thought of Buddha Amitabha. To do this sincerely, without wandering thoughts, without selfishness, to focus single-mindedly on the name Buddha Amitabha. To not have any other thoughts as we are chanting his name. If we can do this in our practice for longer and longer, we will be accumulating the good fortune that we need as we are dying. And we will be deepening our practice. We need good fortune in our last moments. Many people do not have this. If you have visited a hospital or a nursing home, you will see many people unconscious, in so much pain. People who are unable to chant the Buddha's name. Very honestly, we have difficulty doing it now. And we are not in pain. We are clear-headed. We are living in a country, in a time of peace in this country. We have many good conditions, and yet we still have difficulty practicing, still have difficulty focusing solely on the name of Buddha Amitabha. If we have difficulty now, imagine how difficult it will be as we are breathing our last. We need to conserve our good fortune. As the Buddha said, to live simply. We do not need a great deal. Live simply. Save that good fortune. We do not know how much we have. We do not really need it now. We have enough right now. We need it as we are breathing our last. We need to create good fortune now, not use it up. And one way of creating more good fortune is to chant the name of Buddha Amitabha. As we are doing that, we will not only not be using it up, but accumulating it. Because our thoughts will be of perfect goodness. Chant the name. goodness. Chant the name. Suppress the wandering thoughts. Give up selfishness. Understand the true reality. We live in a world that is becoming more and more chaotic. We live in a world where people think it is right to kill thousands. We live in a world where people think it is right to send the germs of anthrax through the mail to kill people they do not even know. We live in a world where there are millions of refugees running from their countries to save their lives, the lives of the families they love. Millions more are literally refugees in their own countries. This is not a good place. Let go of it. We cannot begin to imagine how wonderful the Pureland is. That we can believe Buddha Shakyamuni because we have experienced what he taught and found it to be true. Because his explanations explain things logically. They make sense. We can believe in a world that we do not have words to even describe. Practice now. Practice every day in correcting our faults, in giving up bad habits. Practice at a 7-day retreat, a 4-day retreat. Practice at a weekend retreat. Practice for an hour. Practice for a moment. We simply need to practice sincerely. We practice so that as we are breathing our last, the conditions will be right. And we will be able to chant at that moment. We cannot afford to say, I'll wait till then. I've read in the sutra that all I have to do is chant the name 10, even 1 time. I'll just do that as I'm dying, no problem. We need unbelievable roots of goodness to have the conditions right. We cannot afford to say we will wait for the future. We have heard stories of those who never practiced in their lives. Recently I received an email And the person told me that he had been practicing as a Buddhist for 2 years. The event that triggered that was the death of his father. In his last days, his father was acting bizarrely, banging his hand on the wall, shouting incoherently. Nobody knew what to do. An aunt of the gentleman who wrote to me went to this person's father, helped him put his hands together, and taught him to chant Amituofo. She hung a picture on the wall where the father could see it. After she chanted just a few times, the father calmed down, became much more peaceful, and peacefully passed away a few days later. An amazing story. The son and his younger brother did not eat any meat for 49 days. And they both became Buddhists and have remained vegetarian. The father had to have had very good roots of goodness to have the aunt at the last moment teach him how to chant and to be able to listen. Unbelievable roots of goodness. Most people don't have those. We cannot count on having good conditions. We need to create them. We avoid all that is evil. We embrace all that is good. And we purify our minds of selfish, wandering, improper thoughts. This is the summation of Buddha Shakyamuni's 49 years of teaching. Very simple. Avoid all that is evil. Embrace all that is good. Purify the mind. Very simple, but crucial to our transcending reincarnation. Our Pureland practice helps us do this. If we are focusing on the name of Buddha Amitabha, then we are busy doing that, and we will end up avoiding all that is evil. We will not have evil thoughts. We will not be doing anything evil, because we will be focusing on that name. Embrace all that is good. The name Buddha Amitabha is perfect goodness. If our mind is solely on that name, we are indeed embracing all that is good. And we are purifying our minds with that name. With that name, we can eradicate much negative, evil karma and create all that is good in the future. So the practice of Buddha name recitation allows us to meet the three teachings of Buddha Shakyamuni. We will avoid evil. We will embrace goodness, and our minds will become purified. And in so doing, not only will we do that in our lives now, but we will be creating the causes to be born into the Pure Land. And if our belief is deep, if our vow is sincere, if our practice is focused, then we may not waste this lifetime after all. But we have to realize how many times we have tried this and how important this opportunity is. Maitreya Bodhisattva will become the next teaching Buddha in this world. But that will not happen for approximately 6 billion years. And we do not know where we will be at that time. All of us here, most of us here in this room, are Pure Land practitioners. We are here for a retreat. We are here to practice. All of you are practicing very hard, because to meet the retreat requirements requires much diligence and dedication. It is not easy. At retreats like this, people need to spend many hours in the cultivation hall, doing walking meditation, chanting, doing prostrations. They need to be mindful in everything they do. Very dedicated. For all of us to be here, we are very, very fortunate. We now have this opportunity. Please believe what the Buddha taught. Believe in Buddha Amitabha. Believe in the Western Pure Land. Believe that we are deluded, and what we take for a good place to live is a miserable existence. Believe there is a Western Pure Land. Believe that we can be born there. We may feel we are not very worthy, but we do not know what we have done in past lifetimes, the goodness that we have done. Believe that when the Buddhas say, we can be born there, that we can be born there. We will simply take our remaining karma with us there. We're not trying to escape it. We will take it with us. Believe that within each of us there is a perfect Buddha nature. Believe that within each of us there is perfect goodness, perfect wisdom. Believe that we have lived many lifetimes and will continue to live many more unless we let go of this existence. Make the vow. If we are Pureland practitioners, make the vow to be born into the Western Pureland at the end of this lifetime. Make the vow not for ourselves. Make it for all sentient beings. This will help provide us with the motivation that we need. It's not just us we're thinking of. We are thinking of all beings. Most of whom are unable to practice. We can, and we must, for their sake. Make the vow, and make it the most important thing in our lives. Practice. Every day, practice. Chant the name of Buddha Amitabha. Let go of all wandering thoughts, worries, thoughts of gain, thoughts of loss, thoughts of how others treat us, thoughts of believing that we are right, everybody else is wrong. Let go. Practice. Chant the name, Buddha Amitabha. Form that connection. Now. Deepen that connection. Make it stronger and stronger. Do not waste this opportunity. Embrace it. Value it. Appreciate its rarity. Believe, vow, practice. Not for ourselves, but for all those who need our help. For all those we promised to help, but so far have not. This is our opportunity. Please, do not waste it. Homage to Buddha Amitabha.